The breaking point, Commander Sarah. Mitchell stood before the music. Assembled delegates of the Galactic Peace Summit, her hands steady despite the rage burning in her chest. The grand hall stretched before her like a monument to bureaucratic failure. Crystalline walls reflected the light of 1,000 worlds, and representatives from 60 different species sat in their designated sections, murmuring among themselves as if this were just another routine session. It was not routine, not today. Sarah had been Earth's primary representative for 15 years, 15 long years of diplomatic negotiations, carefully worded treaties, and endless patience. She had learned their languages, studied their customs, and played by their rules. She had smiled when she wanted to scream, bowed when she wanted to stand tall, and accepted insults with grace when her instincts demanded she fight back. Humanity had done everything right. They had joined the galactic community with open hearts and genuine hope for peaceful coexistence. Earth had shared its technology, its culture, its resources. Humans had proven themselves valuable traders, skilled engineers, and loyal allies. They had earned their place among the stars through hard work and good faith, and still it was not enough. The Zarathian Empire had struck 3 days ago. New Terra colony, a farming settlement on the edge of human space, had been home to 89,000 people. Families had built lives there over 2 generations. Children had grown up under alien skies, tending crops that would feed millions across multiple systems. It had been peaceful, productive, and utterly defenseless. The Zarathians had claimed the system belonged to them, based on an ancient territorial map that predated human space flight by centuries. The Galactic Council had promised to review their claim. They had promised arbitration. They had promised that violence would not be tolerated. While the legal process unfolded, the Zarathians had attacked anyway. Orbital bombardment had turned farms into craters. Entire cities had been vaporized in seconds. Emergency shelters had been targeted specifically, ensuring maximum casualties. The attack had lasted 40 minutes, and when it ended, 89,000 humans were dead. Among them were 23,000 children under the age of 12. Sarah had received the casualty reports while sitting in this very chamber, listening to a delegate from the CRN Federation debate the proper taxation rates for interrustum commerce. She had excused herself quietly, walked to a private room, and screamed until her voice was raw. Then she had composed herself, dried her tears, and returned to the session, because that was what diplomats did. They remained calm. They followed protocol. They trusted the system, but the system was broken. High Chancellor Vexthar, a towering insectoid being who chaired the council, had offered Earth his condolences. He had expressed deep concern about the tragic loss of life. He had promised a thorough investigation into whether the Zarathian attack violated any standing agreements. The investigation would take months, perhaps years. In the meantime, humanity was encouraged to show restraint and allow justice to run its course. Sarah had listened to his speech with a blank expression. She had nodded politely. She had thanked him for his concern. Then she had contacted Earth's High Command and delivered a single message: enough is enough. Now she stood before the council once more, but this time she was not asking for help. She was delivering a warning. Honored delegates, Sarah began, her voice cutting through the Murmurs like a blade, I come before you. Today not as a supplicant but as a messenger. For 15 years humanity has sought peace. We have compromised, negotiated, and accepted losses that no species should have to endure. We have believed in this council's ability to maintain order and protect the innocent. She paused, letting the weight of her words settle over the chamber. New Terra colony is the 7th human settlement to be attacked in the past decade. 7th time we have lost thousands of lives while this council debated and delayed. The 7th time we have been told to be patient, to trust the process, to believe that justice would eventually prevail. High Chancellor Vex TH shifted uncomfortably in his elevated seat. Commander Mitchell, we understand your frustration, but these matters require careful consideration. We cannot simply, you can stop talking, Sarah interrupted, her voice cold and hard. The room fell silent. Interrupting the High Chancellor was a severe breach of protocol, but Sarah was beyond caring about protocol. She activated the holographic projector embedded in her wrist device. Images filled the center of the chamber. A young girl watering plants in a greenhouse, a father teaching his son to pilot a harvester, mother singing to her infant daughter. Then the Zarathian ships appearing in orbit. The first bombardment strikes. The screaming. Sarah let the footage play for 2 full minutes before shutting it off. Those were real people, she said quietly. They had names, dreams, families. They were not statistics to be debated in committee hearings, and they are dead because this council values procedure over life. Zarathian delegate rose from his seat. This is an internal matter between. Sit down, Sarah commanded, and something her tone made the delegate comply. Immediately, she looked around the chamber, meeting the eyes of as many representatives as she could. I am here to deliver Earth's final message to this galaxy. Humanity is done asking for protection we will never receive. We are done believing in justice that never comes. We are done being victims. She pulled up a new holographic display showing star charts with human territory clearly marked in bright blue. Effective immediately. Earth is implementing the Fortress Protocol. All human space is now a protected zone. Any unauthorized military vessel that enters our territory will be destroyed without warning. Any attack on human civilians anywhere in the galaxy will be met with immediate and total retaliation. The chamber erupted in shocked voices. Delegates shouted questions and objections. High Chancellor Vex there demanded order, but his voice was drowned out by the chaos. Sarah raised her voice above the din. You believe humanity is weak because we chose peace. You think we are helpless because we asked for help instead of taking revenge, but we are the species that survived ice ages, plagues, and world wars. We crawled out of caves and reached for the stars. We built civilization from nothing, and we will not let you destroy it. She deactivated her holographic display and prepared to leave. The next species that attacks human civilians will learn what humanity is truly capable of. Sarah said, her words echoing through the now silent chamber. We have spent 15 years hoping for peace. We have also spent 15 years preparing for war. Pray you never see which version of humanity you have created. Sarah walked toward the exit, her footsteps the only sound in the vast hall. At the doorway she turned back one final time. This is not a threat. This is a promise. Attack us again and We will show you why Earth survived when so many species did not. We will show you what it means to awaken a sleeping predator. The door closed behind her, leaving the Galactic Council in stunned silence and humanity's enemies with a choice they would soon regret making. The Reckoning, the Scorpion Dominion had ruled the Outer Rim territories for 3 centuries. Their military strength was legendary. Their warriors feared. Across a dozen systems, Supreme Commander Draxel, the highest-ranking officer in the Scorpion Fleet, had personally overseen campaigns that brought entire civilizations to their knees. He viewed the human ultimatum with the same contempt he reserved for insects buzzing around his command throne. They threaten us, he said, mandibles clicking in what passed for laughter among his kind. His bridge officers echoed his amusement. These soft mammals who beg for scraps at the council table dare to draw a line and tell the Scorpion Dominion where we may and may not travel. His tactical advisor, a younger officer named Krellel, shifted nervously. Commander, intelligence suggests we should take their warning seriously. The reports from the Zarathian attack indicate the humans may have hidden capabilities. Draxel slammed a clawed fist against his armrest. The Zorathians were careless. They announced their intentions, gave the humans time to prepare some minor defensive response. We will be different. We will strike fast, strike hard, and show this galaxy that the Scorpion Dominion bows to no one. 3 days after Sarah Mitchell's speech, Scorpion warships entered human space without warning. Their target was Harmony Station, a massive orbital facility that served as a hub for trade, research, and civilian life. 12,000 humans lived and worked on Harmony Station, along with several thousand aliens from species friendly to Earth. It was a symbol of everything humanity had tried to build in the galaxy: cooperation, progress, and peaceful coexistence. The Scorpion Fleet consisted of 40 warships, including their pride, the Dreadnought Vexarath, a vessel so powerful it had destroyed fortified planets during past campaigns. They emerged from faster than light travel in perfect attack formation, weapons already charging. Draxel watched Harmony Station on his view screen, a spinning wheel of metal and light against the black void. Target their power course. I want complete destruction. Leave no survivors to tell tales of Scorpion mercy. But before his weapons officer could fire, every alarm on the bridge screamed at once. Commander, the sensor operator's voice cracked with panic. Multiple contacts. Human ships are appearing all around us. Impossible, Draxel growled. Our scouts reported only a handful of patrol vessels in this sector. The view screen changed to show the tactical situation, and Draxel felt something he had not experienced in decades: fear. 500 human warships had materialized from nowhere, surrounding his fleet in a perfectly coordinated sphere. These were not the cargo haulers converted to military use that intelligence had reported. These were purpose-built vessels of war, sleek and deadly, bristling with weapons that radiated energy signatures his sensors could barely classify. A transmission forced its way through every communication channel on his ship. The face that appeared was human, a man with steel gray hair and eyes cold as the void itself. I am Admiral Marcus Chin of the Earth Defense Fleet, the human said, his voice carrying absolute authority. You have violated human sovereign space with hostile intent. you have targeted civilian infrastructure. As promised, you will now face the consequences. Draxel found his voice. You cannot threaten the Scorpion. Dominion, we have conquered empires. Our military strength is your military strength is irrelevant. Admiral Chin interrupted. You had your warning. You chose to ignore it. Now you will learn what happens when you mistake human patience for human weakness. The human fleet opened fire. What happened next would be analyzed in militarities for generations. The Scorpion warships, veterans of 100 battles, attempted to return fire and found their targeting system scrambled by electronic warfare beyond anything they had encountered. Their shields, which had withstood planetary defense cannons, collapsed under the precise assault of weapons that seemed to know exactly where to strike. The dreadnought Vexarath, the pride of the Scorpion fleet, lasted 18 seconds before its main reactor was surgically disabled by a kinetic projectile moving at a significant fraction of light speed. The massive ship went dark, drifting helplessly while smaller human vessels surrounded it. Draxel watched his fleet disintegrate with horrifying efficiency. Ships were not destroyed, but disabled, their weapons torn away, their engines crippled. The humans were leaving his crews alive, but taking away every ability to fight. It was methodical, surgical, and absolutely terrifying. All ships retreat, he ordered desperately. Emergency jump coordinates, execute now. We cannot engage FTL drives. His engineer reported, voice shaking. The humans are generating some kind of gravitation field. We are locked in normal space. Admiral Chen's face reappeared on the screen. You will not escape to attack. Another day, your fleet is finished, but unlike you, we do not murder helpless enemies. The engagement lasted 8 minutes. When it ended, 40 Scorpion warships drifted in space, intact but completely powerless. Not a single crew member had been killed, though every weapon system, every engine, every piece of military hardware had been systematically destroyed. Now comes the message, Admiral Chin said, and his expression hardened further. You attacked Harmony Station, home to 12,000 civilians. You intended to kill them all. We are going to show you what we could do in return. The human fleet turned away from the disabled Scorpion vessels and jumped to faster than light travel. Draxel could only watch his sensors in horror as they tracked the human armada's destination, the Scorpion home world. The fleet arrived in Scorpion space 4 hours later, 4 hours to cross a distance that should have taken 3 weeks. The humans had been hiding their true faster-than-light capabilities the entire time, letting the galaxy believe they were slow and vulnerable. Draxel, his command ship, towed by human vessels, was forced to watch as Admiral Chen's fleet took position around his home planet. Billions of Scorpions lived on the surface, entire generations who had never even seen war, children playing in streets, families gathered for evening meals, his own clan members somewhere below in the sprawling cities. Please, Draxel whispered, something he had never done in his entire military career. Please do not do this. Admiral Chen's face appeared one final time. We could destroy your world in minutes. Our weapons could crack your planet's crust, boil your oceans, turn your atmosphere to fire. We have the technology, we have the position, and after what you tried to do to Harmony Station, we would have the justification. Draxel saw the weapons on the human ships powering up, energy readings climbing to levels that confirmed every terrible word the Admiral spoke. But we will not, Shin continued, because humanity does not wage war on civilians. We are not like you. The human fleet began targeting military installations with the same surgical precision they had used on his fleet. Orbital defense platforms were vaporized, military spaceports were reduced to rubble, army bases, naval facilities, weapons development centers. Every piece of Scorvian military infrastructure was systematically eliminated while civilian areas remained completely untouched. The assault lasted 6 hours. When it ended, the Scorpion Dominion's ability to wage war had been erased from existence, but not a single civilian casualty had been reported. Admiral Chen's message was broadcast across every communication frequency in the galaxy. The Scorpion Dominion attacked human civilians. We responded by destroying their military completely, while preserving every civilian life. Let this be a lesson to every species watching. Humanity will defend itself. Absolutely, but we will not become monsters to do it. He paused, and when he spoke again, his voice carried a weight that made entire civilizations pause. This is Earth's final warning to the galaxy. Attack human civilians again, and the species responsible will face total military annihilation. We have the capability, we have the will, and we have proven we have the restraint to use our power justly. The choice is yours, peace or destruction. Choose wisely. The transmission ended and the human fleet withdrew from Scorpion space, leaving behind a civilization that would take decades to rebuild its military, while its people lived in the shadow of what could have been total extinction across the galaxy. The message was received with crystal clarity. Humanity had hidden its true strength for years, preparing in secret while playing the role of peaceful newcomers. They had demonstrated power that rivaled the greatest empires while showing mercy that shamed warrior cultures. They had proven they could destroy and chose not to. The Galactic Council convened an emergency session. High Chancellor Vexar, his voice lacking all its former authority, formally apologized to humanity for the Council's failures. New treaties were drafted, giving human space absolute sovereignty. Species that had ignored human complaints suddenly became eager to establish friendly relations. Sarah Mitchell watched the diplomatic transformation from Earth, a small smile on her face. 15 years of patience had taught the galaxy to ignore humanity. 1 week of action had taught them to respect it. Commander Draxel, stripped of his rank and exiled from military service, spent his remaining years telling anyone who would listen about the day he learned that the most dangerous predators are not the ones who roar the loudest, but the ones patient enough to wait for the perfect moment to strike. Humanity had given the galaxy its final warning. The galaxy had tested that warning and learned the truth. Earth's children would never again be easy prey. They had survived extinction, events, ice ages, and their own worst instincts to reach the stars, and they would protect what they had built with the same determination that had carried them from caves to starships. The age of humanity underestimating had ended. The age of humanity's strength had begun.